Hello everyone, I'm Jay, one half of Jay and Valing Around, and I'm here in Alton, Illinois. And when we were here last, we did a scavenger hunt, and one of the clues brought us to the Piasa Bird. Now, when we go to our scare fests and our haunted house expos, there's always vendors that make the cryptid masks and they have the cryptid monsters. Well, the Piasa Bird is considered a cryptid monster, and I have developed an interest in cryptids, so I thought I would bring you the story. So come along with me as I jay around Alton and tell you the story about the Piasa Bird. So right where I'm standing is Alton, Illinois, and way before the French explorers and way before there was a city of Alton, there was a Native American tribe called the Illinois tribe, and they called this place their home. Now, there's many myths and stories, and we're going to focus on this one, and it's the story of the Piasa Bird. So we start in 1673. A couple of French explorers, Louis Joliet and Jacques Marquette, see a painting on a limestone bluff facing the Mississippi River. But we'll get back to that. But this is a bluff that is similar to what they would have seen right across from the Mississippi River. So according to the story, the Piasa bird was a huge bird that lived up in the cliffs or the bluffs, and it would terrorize the Illinois tribe who lived below. It would swoop down and it would attack all of its people, and it would eat them for food. Now, it's said that the Piasa bird got a taste for human flesh because it would feast on the corpses from war. So a local chief, Chief Owatoga, ended up killing the Piasa bird. He got this divine plan, and what he did was he used himself as bait. He called upon his most bravest warriors, and they went up to the cave where the Piasa lived. He positioned his warriors around the cave and then waited for the Piasa to come out to eat him. Now, as the Piasa came out of the cave, the brave warriors with poison arrows shot the bird down and killed it. And that is how the Piasa was defeated. So that brings me to the painting on the side of the bluff. It was made to commemorate the heroic acts of those brave warriors that took down the Piasa bird. So now back to our French explorers. Jacques Marquette, who is also known as Père Marquette, in French, Père is father. So Father Marquette actually wrote down a description of the Piasa in his journal. Now, when he saw the paintings on the bluffs, he actually saw two creatures. One was the Piasa, the other one, they say, might have been an underwater panther. But we're just going to focus on the Piasa. The description is, they were as big as a calf, with horns on their head like a deer, scary red eyes, a beard like a tiger, a man's face, the body covered in scales, and a tail so long it winds around the head through the legs. At the end, looks like a fish tail. Now, Father Marquette actually drew what he saw on those bluffs that day. But obviously, through weather and erosion and civilization, that has all been destroyed. They say the drawings have been destroyed too. The journal he kept with him, and one day capsized in one of his canoes and everything got destroyed in the Mississippi River. One thing that I forgot to mention was Father Marquette, in his drawing and in his description in his journal, never mentioned wings. So in his rendition, it was more like a serpent or a dragon. So now it's 1836, and a professor of Greek and Latin named John Russell actually names the painting, and he calls it Piasa. Now, Piasa in Indian actually means the bird that devours men. Now, Father Marquette never mentions wings in his journal, so some people say that John Russell actually made up the whole story so that it would fit the name Piasa. So now this is the modern day version of the Piasa bird here on this cliff, and we'll get back to that in a second. But in 1920, a couple of brothers, Herbert and Orland Forcade, picked out a new cliff and painted the modern version of the Piasa bird. Now in 1950, it was destroyed when they actually widened the Great River Road that goes along the Mississippi River. And so they ended up coming here to this bluff. So in 1984, the Piasa bird was painted on steel and attached to the cliff by bolts. But by 1995, through decay and the weight of the steel, the sign actually broke off the cliff and fell. So this was the steel sign that was painted and attached to the cliff from 1984 to 1995 before it fell off the cliff. And it's a cool story, actually. After the sign fell off of the rocks, they dumped it underneath a bridge and it just sat. And a student, probably trolling, because trolls live under bridges, found the sign and actually bought it for $1. And it ended up at the Southwestern High School, and it's right here, right in front of us. Now, the mascot for the Southwestern High School is the Piasa bird, so it only fits. But this is the actual steel painting that was bolted to the side of the cliff from 1984 to 1995. How cool is that? Looks like they did a pretty good job of restoring it and everything. So in 1999, a local resident of Alton decided to repaint the Piasa bird one more time right here on this bluff. And he made it bigger. It's 22 feet high and 48 feet long. And it requires a lot of maintenance. So every so often they have to come back out here and repaint again and repaint again because of erosion and decay, and some of the bluffs actually literally breaking off. So that was the story of the Piasa bird. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning about it. So, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment down below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and help us get to 1,000 subscribers. It'll let you know when our new videos come out, and it'll keep you in the loop. So I want to thank you for coming along with me today and learning about the Piasa bird. And I want to thank you for Jay and valing around with me.